All right, let's talk about something that's at the heart of, well, everything, our relationships. Today, we're going to unpack how we can stop having those same old frustrating fights and start building connections that are genuinely stronger and healthier. Let's dive right in.
You know the feeling, right? A small disagreement pops up, and suddenly, you're right back in that same argument you had last week, and the week before that. Maybe you shut down, maybe they get loud, but the one thing that never happens? A resolution. It's totally exhausting, and it can leave you feeling like you're just bad at this.
So, what is actually going on there? Well, relationship experts call this the slippery slope. The second a conflict begins, our knee-jerk reactions can send us sliding down one of two paths. And trust me, neither of them ends up anywhere good.
So on one side of that slope, you've got the escape path. This is all about avoidance. You might deny there's even a problem or just leave. It's that classic, I'm done talking about this. Then, on the other side, you've got the attack path. This is where conflict becomes a war. It's all about blame, maybe some sarcastic jabs, and just trying to win. Any of this ringing a bell? Okay, but here is the big idea, the major shift. What if we've been looking at conflict all wrong? What if the argument itself isn't the real enemy? In fact, what if it's actually a huge opportunity? A chance to figure out what's really going on, to meet each other's needs, and to build a connection that's even deeper than before. And that's our first big takeaway. We're going to stop seeing conflict as a battle where one person wins and the other loses. Instead, we're going to start treating it like a puzzle you have to solve together, as a team.
You know, we have this fairy tale idea that we just find the perfect relationship. But this quote from the Mental Health Foundation hits the nail on the head. Healthy relationships aren't found. They are built. It's all about becoming the architect of your relationship, not just someone living inside it.
So, if we're architects, what's the blueprint? What do we need to build with? Well, lucky for us, experts all point to 4 non-negotiable foundational pillars that create a truly solid connection. Let's break them down. So here they are: trust, respect, communication, and boundaries. You can think of them like the 4 legs of a table. If one of them is shaky, the whole thing gets unstable. But here's the cool part. When you work on strengthening just one, you actually make all the others stronger too.
Let's start with trust. This is the absolute bedrock. It's that deep down feeling of safety that allows you to be vulnerable, to share a secret or a big dream and know that person has your back. Without that core safety, real intimacy is basically impossible.
Next up, respect. And we're not talking about more than just being polite here. This is about genuinely admiring your partner as their own separate person, valuing their opinion even when it's the total opposite of yours. It means consciously choosing not to do that little eye roll because you truly honor who they are.
Pillar number 3, communication. And this is a big one. It's a two-way street. It's having the guts to say what you actually feel and need. But, and this is key, it's also about learning to listen, not just to plan your comeback, but to actually understand where they're coming from. The goal is connection, not a court case.
And our last pillar, boundaries. Now, boundaries get a bad rap. They aren't walls you build to keep people out. They're more like guidelines you draw that create a safe space for the relationship to actually grow. They protect you, they protect them, and they make sure you both have room to be yourselves. Okay, so we've got the pillars. We know what a strong relationship is built on, but how do you actually do it, especially when you're mad or hurt? That's where we get practical. Let's open up the communication toolkit.
First up, this is a huge one from relationship researcher Dr. John Gottman. You have to know the difference between a complaint and a criticism. A complaint is about a specific event. I was worried when I didn't hear from you. A criticism attacks their whole character. You're just so thoughtless. See the difference? One is solvable, the other is just an attack.
So how do you make a complaint without it turning into a criticism? You use I statements. It's a total game changer. Instead of pointing the finger and saying, you never listen, you start with yourself. I feel unheard when is a million miles away from you're a bad listener. It's about your experience, not their character flaws.
Now for those really tough conversations, there's a technique that works wonders. It's called the speaker-listener technique. It's simple. One person is the speaker. Their only job is to talk about their feelings, using I statements. The listener's only job is to listen and then paraphrase back what they heard. No defending, no debating. Then you switch. The goal isn't to solve it right away. It's just to make sure you both feel completely heard.
Now, once you have these tools in your back pocket, you can completely reframe how you handle disagreements. You can finally move from fighting each other to solving a problem together. You can turn those arguments into actual stepping stones to a stronger bond.
But before we talk about what to do, let's be crystal clear on what not to do. Dr. Gottman found 4 communication patterns that are so toxic, he called them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They are criticism, which we talked about, contempt, that's disrespect, sarcasm, name-calling, defensiveness, which is basically playing the victim, and stonewalling. That's when you just completely shut down. If you can spot and stop these 4, you are already halfway there.
So what's the antidote to the 4 horsemen? A simple 4-step game plan. Step 1, figure out what the real issue is. Get specific. Step 2, find a common goal, even if that goal is just, we both want to feel close again. Step 3, brainstorm solutions. No bad ideas here, just get everything on the table. And finally, step 4, agree on one small, actionable plan you can both try.
And really, that's the main takeaway here. A great relationship isn't a final destination. It's a constant work in progress. There are always going to be challenges. But when you use these strategies, you're not just surviving conflicts. You are actively, brick by brick, building a stronger, more resilient connection.
So I'll leave you with this one question. This isn't about becoming a perfect partner overnight. It's about starting small. So what's one tiny step you can take today? Maybe it's deciding to try an I statement. Maybe it's just apologizing for your part in the last argument. What's one thing you can do right now to start building a better bond? Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.